Hello and welcome to the video lectures on the Introduction to International Investment Law. In this lecture series, we would be covering about 10 to 12 broad topics on the subject, and these would include important and controversial subjects such as expropriation, fair and equal treatment, and most favored nation principles, as well as the latest developments both in international investment law and international investor state arbitration. This lecture series can be taken up by students and others who are interested in getting an introductory overview of the subject. Now, moving on to the first chapter of the series, Nature and Evolution of International Investment Law. We can see that international investment law has evolved in three distinct phases in modern history. Phase 1 is the period from 1870 to 1914, that is till the commencement of the First World War. Phase 2 is the interwar period between 1918 to 1945. Note that the First World War took place between 1914 to 1918. The third phase is the post-war period beginning from 1945. But even before the first phase, that is from 1870 onwards, certain developments in international politics have had tremendous influence in the evolution of international investment law. This is the subject of this first lecture. To give an example, in 1778, USA and France concluded the first commercial treaty known as the Treaty of Alliance. In fact, there were many treaties and they were collectively called as Treaties of Alliance. Now, coming back to the treaty importantly provided for commercial relationship between both the countries. So this is one of the important uh, developments in the evolution of international law on the subject. After this, various friendship, commerce, and navigation treaties were entered into between many countries, especially between US and others. An example of that is the United States and Paraguay Treaty of Friendship, Commerce, and Navigation of the year 1859. These treaties protected individual and other rights such as protection of individuals and their property, freedom of movement and worship, assurance of rights to trade and to engage in commercial expertise, granting national treatment and most favored nation status, allowing for access to ports, and granting navigation rights through territorial waters. But would note that even the recent treaties guarantee all these rights. By treaties, I mean the international investment treaties. Now, after this, there were also unequal or capitulation treaties. Now, unfortunately, these treaties conferred one sided rights on the dominant conquering colonizer. These treaties were the products of actual or threatened use of force by the dominant powers, especially those from the West. Although these treaties were couched in neutral language, they were actually meant to protect the rights, property, and the investment of the colonizer. Example of such treaties include treaties entered into between Western powers and China between 1840s and 1860s. In fact, it has been argued that the imposition of such unequal treaties was a key legal strategy in the European colonization. Key features of such treaties included travel and prerogatives of foreign traders, the securing of extensive trading and investment rights, non-discriminatory commercial access to the host state, granting of concessions to foreign companies, the protection of Christian missionaries, leasing or ceding of territory to foreign states, and governance powers, including establishments of parallel systems of governance. Thus, the origins of international investment law themselves have been tainted by colonialism, and the superstructure of IIL, that is in international investment law, was built with colonialism and power dynamics between nations as the base. Another important aspect is the evolution of the law on diplomatic protection to alien property in the 19th and the early 20th centuries. A new branch of international law began to emerge in the 19th century known as diplomatic protection of aliens. This branch of international law concerned the establishment of an internationally acceptable minimum standard for the treatment of foreign persons and foreign companies. Violation of these standards meant that the host state was responsible, and this meant even military or other intervention by the state to which the alien belonged. For more information on this aspect and developments in international investment law prior to 1870, readers can refer to the first chapter of the book by Kate, Kate Miles titled "The Origins of International Investment Law: Empire, Environment, and Safeguarding of the Capital." This has been published by the Cambridge University Press in the year 2013. That's all in this first lecture relating to the origins of international investment law prior to 1870. Thank you.